Yeah, bass definitely doesn't take as long as drums. I can run through that real quick. With this one, with this session, they had a bass DI and a mic. So they mic'd a cab and they got what they wanted for that. So this is you know what? It looks like I did the same thing with
It
the
looks like
processing.
you parallel compressed it.
Oh yeah, I parallel
That's
compressed
what
it,
it is.
and then I did all my effects over on the actual bus,
On
and
the
so
bus.
just did everything as a whole. So it's more or less like the aux, like I would do with the overheads or whatever, but just at an inconvenient place within the session, maybe.
Yeah.
So this is without the parallel compression and just
The
with all
effects.
my effects and sends and all that still going on. Yeah, and then at the end I added the parallel back in. So what I wanted to do with that, with my thought with parallel compression on bass, is really just to give it that kind of stable low end throughout it. So yeah, I mean that's really it. It's just to kind of keep that at the same tempo. So with this one, I did the 3A because with this kind of rock music, it's good to have like an aggressive bass. So it brings out more the like string noise and just like the attack from the strings and everything like that. So that was my thinking with this. And you can, yeah, I slam it. I did some EQ before it, added, what is that, 700, just so that those frequencies are what's really hitting the compressor. So like by boosting 7 dB or whatever the relation is here at 700, that's what's really making the compressor go.
That's where you're hitting the compressor.
Right.
Because you are before it, just to make sure for those who can't see.
And I took some of the 200 out just to get some of the muddiness because I do add this in, so the EQs that I do add affect the sound of it, so I didn't want to make it super muddy. And like I said, add in like 1.5, again, a lot of it, in order to get some of that attack out.
Yeah, which is a kind of a strange-ish. Some people think that 1.5 is a little harsh, but for some reason, man, it just works.
Yeah,
it just works.
And it's really, it depends. With parallel compression, if I do EQ, I'll also play around and like do if I want to do the EQ after the compressor, things like that. Really, you can just mess around and see what you want to do. So here, high. Oh, that's interesting.
That's a little like inverse shelf kind of deal here.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. I don't really oh, you know what my theory was? Okay, I remember now. So I forget who told me, but someone told me back in the day of like Motown, people would take out like the low end on bass before the compressor. So like I was saying before, that's not what's affecting the compressor.
Sure, yeah.
So the compressor's more hitting more the mid-range and things like that. And then after the compressor, they'll go and add that back in after the fact.
Got it.
So
that's cool.
That's what I was doing here. So that was that theory. The RVox, I don't think I've talked about that yet. Cool thing about RVox is if you want to make something super present in the mix, it just brings it super forward and it's in your face. So it's a lot of fun with hip hop and things like that for vocals.
We actually have a Dave Pensado setting. If we go to good vocal, this is notorious.
Really?
For its insane. I think this is the one that has it. Yeah, the gain. Oh, it wasn't that. There was one Pensado plugin. Yeah, there it is. That bad boy is just dimed. It is pretty silly, but to each his own on that one.
Click one more time, I think.
But yeah.
So if you'll see with this, the thought is this is compressing all three of those things together. So it's in a sense gluing all the DI, the amp, and the parallel compression together and trying to smoothing it out. I don't do a lot with it. So yeah, it's doing like not even 2 dB of compression. So we talked about that. This cool. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. Josh, your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. Something about these console modeling things, I'm just not. It's like black magic, man. I don't know if I actually believe in them, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just sometimes for like. There's not a lot of things to edit here. Like it's mainly just shelves and things like that. So for this, adding some of the low end was kind of cool. I'll just take it out and show what it did. So it adds some low end. With this one, I think I was really just editing the drive, which is giving it more distortion to it. That was really the thought with this. And then there's another EQ, just taking some more mud out. So yeah, so that's with the that kind of processing. With the effects, I have what's called a vocal delay. That is pretty much just a doubler. I guess a lot of my effects I mainly focus on. I'll try it with the vocal first and make sure that it fits well with that, and kind of if anything else needs it, it'll go based off that, because the vocal usually is the most important thing in the mix. So making sure that it fits in the vocal to me is what's important. So the vocal delay, like I said, is a doubler, more or less. It's just super short, 16.5 milliseconds. So yeah, let me try taking all this stuff out and you can kind of hear. So this is without it. Yeah, it just kind of thickens it up a bit. That's really what the purpose is for me, is just thickening things up. This is the parallel distortion. So I've been trying that out a lot lately. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. Send it to my trusty friend Decapitator. Punish button on, going crazy.
You're going for the punish. That's a little intense.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing. Well, the way I was going with it the same thing like parallel compression. You go overboard and just kind of mix it to taste.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, that's overboard.
Which. I mean, with that, it wasn't even really doing much, just because the bass is pretty low in the mix. Just with this kind of genre, the bass isn't super prominent, so it's kind of buried in the mix, so it's not really doing too much. The tone is going for bright just to get the high end of distortion out. I do have a little of it cut off though, so it's not super harsh. So that's with that, and then some reverb, and then the tape too. So we'll just kind of add those things.
Yeah, I see that reverb actually carries the bass out, which is a little it's unorthodox for me. I'm not necessarily one to fill the reverb up with bass, but if it works, it works.
Yeah, I don't do.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool.
I mean, it's I don't know. I guess in terms of reverb, that might be a lot added to it, but I don't know. Just trying to give it some space, because I'm assuming with the cab it was close mic'd, so that's just trying to give it some more depth to it.
Yeah, so that sounds like. Are we good?
Yeah. If you wanted to hear the bass and drums together.
Definitely. We could give those a listen.
I think just the bass is solo, so you've got to solo the drums as well.
And then solo those bad boys, and then just this right here.
Yeah.
Yep. So let's give that a listen, and yep. Yeah, I really just like how the kick. If I were to just do that, well, let me take all these solos off first. If I were to just play these together. Yeah, they're not conflicting at all. I think that a lot of what you did in terms of pulling it out before you went into the compressor helped them play nice together.
Yeah.
No, it sounds good. So, again, thanks for watching. We're gonna have another video. The next one should be basically the rest of the instruments, and then we're gonna go to vocal. But yep, thanks for watching again, and we will see you next time.